them as equals and not talk down to them and always not rip them off. So what we've done is put together a whole alliance of shops and trying to find a way to make it women friendly.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you're first getting started, you come up with this idea. Who did you tell first?
Oh gosh, that was really good. Actually, I was working with a friend of mine who is a business partner, and we were sitting at my house in the kitchen one day, and I tried it out on her, and she was sort of, I don't know. and you know, it was one of those things, because even starting the business, having to explain it to people, there's nothing like us out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for people to grasp what the concept is.
Sure.
And once they do, they realize, wow, that's the easy way to do business, and not the hard way.
Yeah, the reason I asked you that question is because I find that a lot of times some of the greatest ideas, when you first present them to people, they always kind of get met with a, I don't know, but you know that there's a need for them. Were you embraced by the fellow auto dealerships, garages?
Oh, absolutely. When I first rolled it out, and I was amazed, and several of the things that came about were shops that I went and visited with were going, well, yeah, initially. And the funny part is I revisited them all a year later, and it was one of the guys told me, he said, you know, when you came in here a year ago, if you had told me this was what it was going to be, he said, I wouldn't have believed it.
Right.
So it was a start where people were going, yeah, well, we can do that, but now it's one of, sure. So everybody's beginning to understand it, but it's having to find the right place for people to be treated properly. And we're here back on the road, and if you deal with Brad or Scott, you know, they are going to tell you the flat truth and give you the best advice they can.
Sure. That's
what we look for.
So when you're first getting started, you're kind of telling people all about it. Is this all in our mind? Are women actually being treated that differently? Because, you know, when you talk to some people, they'll say it's just because we don't understand, you know, the automotive language. And it's true, a lot of us don't know. We have great cars, and we have no idea how they work. And I'm one of those people too. So I'm just wondering, like, is it all in our head?
No, and the funny part for me in business is that I have found that by almost to 100% women feel that way. But I have also found that 50% of the men feel that way. And so 50% of my clients have been men who have called and asked for the same advice because they no longer feel comfortable. The one thing that people don't understand when you're looking at that is it's not your dad's 57 Chevrolet anymore. Your car is a rolling computer.
Right, right.
And when you get that concept and you understand that it's no longer literally mechanical, it's now electronic, then most of the men don't know either. They don't have carburetors anymore. You don't rebuild these things. It's not like it used to be.
Wow. So in saying that, that means that technology means that the people actually working in the garages have to have a different skill set. How has that you know, changed for you? Because you're coming from seeing, I guess, like a gauntlet of the way cars have been made to the way they're being made now. So have you also had to change your thinking and you know, learn different terms, or?
Yeah, I think even during the 15 years in the business, you know, things began, it's almost what we all do in business today.
Sure.
It began to evolve, and so you had to keep up with it in order to know what you're doing. And when you're in a shop, you know, you're having to learn the diagnostic terms and what they mean, and what that means for your car.
Sure.
Because when you're looking at it, and when people are talking about dash lights and things, what that is, if you can put it in the right vernacular that we can all understand, that is an error message on your computer. That's basically what you're saying.
Right.
So it's an error message. It's not a fail code.
Sure. Okay.
It's an error message.
Gotcha.
So what I try to do in this is to try and make shop speak translated into plain English. There is a way to come up with an analogy that says, yeah, your car's a computer, this is an error message, this is not a panic mode. So trying to help people understand what these things are telling them, instead of having them see a light come on and panic.
Which is what I would do. Like, oh no, what should someone look for in a garage? If you're a woman and we can't get to you by phone for some reason, or we just don't have a Gail in your city, what should you be looking for when you step into the garage?
Well, the things that I look for to bring people into the Alliance are some of the things I think you've noticed about the shop we're in today. One of the things that is so important to me is whether the shop is clean, and there is some decor. There is something attractive about it. The shop itself is clean, the waiting room's clean, the exterior is clean.
Yes, and let me just say, like, the shop is so clean that we were like, do you really fix cars here? Because the floor is spotless. We're sitting on these plush leather chairs. It is quite an experience when you're getting your car serviced. I guess if you're going to get good or bad news, you should do so in a plush chair.
Yeah, and it's nice in a plush chair, but it also is indicative of the care that the people, the reason I look for it, it's indicative of the care that they take for your car.
Definitely.
If they're concerned about the appearance of their shop, as Brad is here, then they're concerned about you and your car.
Okay.
And if it were a little hole someplace and it were dirty and you were going in, I wouldn't go there. You know, I've been in places where I wouldn't go in. So first and foremost, I look for something where the people keep the establishment clean.
Okay.
Then you're looking for people who are female friendly.
Okay.
You know, one of the managers here, Scott, very female friendly. Don't talk down to people. And I can walk in and someone said, well, how do you know that? And I said, because I is one. You know, so if you're talking down to me when I go in to approach you about being in the Alliance, you're probably not coming in.
Right.
Because the experience that I get is, I don't want to be here. So I tell people, when you go into a shop and you're talking with someone, there's nothing that says you have to stay there and let them work on your car. If you're not comfortable, walk away.
And I think that that's what a lot of women do. They feel uncomfortable. They think that they don't know anything about their car, and they feel like being, talked down to or just receiving rude service is actually part of the experience, and it's not. And I think that's what also makes your business so special, because you are experiencing the businesses that are a part of the Alliance firsthand. So you feel very confident saying, yes, you can go here and you're going to be treated well. And that's something that's missing. So let's get into something that's a little fun. Do you have any more tips? Is there one more?
Well, I think the thing that I want everyone to know, whether or not it's a shop in my Alliance, if you have a mechanic in your community, which is what every one of us should have, if you have a mechanic in your community and you're comfortable with the service that they give you, then you take your car there and let them do everything they need to do on your car. It's like having a doctor. So they know you, they know your car, and then as they continue to service your car, they will advise you what needs to be done. And so instead of going to a quick lube place here and tires here and a battery here and this here, find yourself a mechanical shop.
And develop a relationship.
Exactly.
Okay, very similar to your doctor.
Exactly.
So if you're going to, different places to get a quick fix, which we're all guilty of, oh, just stop here and get my tire fixed or change my oil. If you develop that relationship, then you'll build up, trust, and you'll learn to establish a vernacular that both you and your mechanic can, understand.
And I suppose, because we do an automotive boot camp, and we can talk about that,